think so.
Oh, yo. Wait, hold on. You can hear me, bro? Hold on, we gotta stop this. Yo. Welcome back. Paint to the Pit episode. What we at? Episode 9, bro?
Yep.
Episode 9. We are back. Please, as always, make sure you follow us on YouTube and TikTok. Check us out. We will be there posting content as often as possible, as consistently as we can. But talk to me, bro. How you feeling today?
Feeling great, man. I'm liking this episode we got in store, man. It's gonna be fun.
Hey,
It's gonna be
we
fun.
got a great episode in store for y'all, a fun episode. We're going to be planning what we look like, what we think WWE is going to be looking like in 2026. Super excited about that activity. We're going to be breaking down why ESPN is reportedly unhappy with the WWE deal. I think that's going to spark some great conversation. We're going to preview the upcoming Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. And when we move to the NBA side, we're going to be discussing the NBA Cup quarterfinals that's happening this week. Of course, the next version of our plus minus therapy. Talk about some NBA players of the week. And, of course, wrapping up with our weekly shoutouts. So let's get straight into it, bro, because we got a jam-packed episode today. A lot of stuff to talk about.
We got it.
The floor is yours. I wanted to give you the opportunity to introduce the topic and lead the topic for this one.
Yeah. So I was just thinking, just I think generally this year's just been a really sour mood when it comes to wrestling.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I just wanted to bring something forth that was a little lighthearted, a little fun, just to kind of like play around with the world of wrestling, because at the end of the day, that's all this is, right? We're just storytelling with characters, acting. We know
Absolutely.
It's so scripted. Everything is for fun. So I just wanted to introduce a way of where we could sort of, I guess, give our fans like something that'll like be like, oh, like I ain't never really look at it this way. Like, so the idea is basically, how would you book going into the next year? How would you set up superstars to succeed? Do you fire more guys? Do you add in more guys? Do you call up people? What do you do with the titles? You could really take it any way you want. And I think that's kind of the point of where I wanted to go with it. It seems like WWE is very like strict in how they book, and they're just afraid to take chances. So it's like, if we were the bookers, if we were the creative, if we were involved in this process, how would you go about it? I don't think there's really any wrong answers, because again, the point is to have fun and just go what you feel is best, So just want to know what you think about that.
Yeah, bro. I'm looking forward to it. That's dope, bro. I got when you told me about the topic a few days ago, I was excited. I started thinking, put my thinking cap on. I got my whole list here. So when it's time for me to talk, I got everything. I'm gonna spill it out. So looking forward to it, bro. But since it was your idea, such a great topic, I definitely wanted to hear you kick it off. So floor is yours, bro.
It's funny. This brought me back to the. Do you remember? Hold on. Sorry. You remember back in when we had was it the old SmackDown versus Raw, and they had the GM mode? He used to just run through just like that.
Classic, bro. Classic, man. Classic time.
So for me, I didn't really look into too much of like the last remaining pay-per-views. I kind of did it from sort of the angle of having a clean slate, like a completely clean slate. Like, okay, I got a fresh set of roster, I got a fresh set of superstars. I tried to account for injuries, but I'm also in the idea of like, okay, these people are going to come back, right? Okay. So my idea was to just sort of start the booking like post WrestleMania, because I feel like as we're approaching like the Royal Rumble, the final pay-per-views for the year, WrestleMania, the big, the grandest stage, that's kind of all set. So I think whatever happens from there, it happens. They're going to obviously go for those big moments. I'm pretty sure we're going to see the likes of the Roman Reigns and the Brock Lesnar's involved in all of this the next couple months.
For sure.
WrestleMania is just one big ticket, one big superstar show. It's you're trying to put on the best matches. You don't really care too much about the storylines. So I'm always interested in what happens post WrestleMania, how they set that up. Because I always feel like they start off into WrestleMania on such a decent note, but then it just like topples over. I think back to when we see what was that, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens win the tag titles. It was such a good match, and you felt the storytelling aspect of it. But once they won the titles, it was like a steady just fall off the cliff.
For sure.
So pretty much the way I broke it down was I My thought process was to take a look at the way they analyze and the way they set up the PLEs. So
Okay.
basically, I would stop running 4 matches. I would not run 4 matches. I would stop trying to make matches a certain length, and I would probably shorten a lot of matches, which I think in turn might even solve the injury bug they seem to be having at times. I would try to add maybe 1 or 2 more matches onto each card. Even the weekly shows, you can do this, I think, because my thought process is to use every single title that's available. I would take all the titles, I would have them in some fashion be a part of the show, whether that's week to week or just leading up into a PLE where it gets defended, and I
Okay.
would use the stars in the weekly shows to set up the matches for those PLEs so that you always have some sort of a title. And even if it's like not necessarily a title match, it's setting up these contenders for a future title match. Okay, these guys are going to battle. Okay, I'm the number one contender now. I'm going to challenge these guys. Let's build a storyline from there. So the way I had it was World Heavyweight title. Obviously, CM Punk is the champion now. I don't know what I would exactly do with that title as of right now. It's a little tough. I probably would end up giving it to Braun Breaker because, again, CM Punk is the champion. He's going to be our face. I would move Roman Reigns to Raw. I think Roman
Okay.
Reigns is going to be the face as well. I think Seth Rollins, obviously, he's going to come back at some point since he got the little betrayal storyline. I think I would make him a face too. The
So
only
Roman's
problem
gonna
is I
be
have
on
a.
Raw with Cody.
What's that?
I mean, Roman's gonna be on Raw with Punk.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, what I'm gonna do is a couple of swaps.
Okay.
I'm gonna have LA Knight in there, and the thing with LA Knight is I'm not too sure whether I want to turn him heel or keep him face,
Okay.
because there also is the prospect of Jey Uso, which we see happening right now. There's sort of like this allusion to the idea that he might turn heel. So I don't know if maybe that's a bigger draw for now. Maybe leave LA Knight kind of just around, keep him a little bit of
Okay.
faith, but maybe slowly get him to that point. Because what I noticed going through just the superstar rosters, they have a little bit of trouble with the heels right now. There's not this big of a balance between people who are considered the good guys and then obviously the bad guys. Right now, your biggest heels are pretty much, well, on Raw, pretty much Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, which is the whole Vision faction and all that. So I would think I would have it, I guess, going into the start of the new year where maybe Breaker is the world champion.
Okay.
Obviously, CM Punk stays around because you just need the face, you need the money aspect, you need that draw. So I get that, but that's
For
also
sure.
why I move Roman to Raw. So I have CM Punk, Roman, LA, Seth as my top baby faces, the main eventers. On the heel
Okay.
side, it'll be Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and I guess Jey Uso on this point. Then I would move to the IC title, where again I'm trying to think of like how to continue to use these titles because I feel like they get no love, right? Like that's the thing
Yeah.
that seems to be absent, where it's like they're just throwing in superstars in the mid card week to week. You don't really know like why are these guys fighting today? Why is Rusev fighting Penta on some random Monday? Like there's no.
Absolutely.
So what I got for the IC title is I'm gonna have Finn Balor turning face. He's gonna
Okay.
move away from the Judgment Day. Dom's gonna betray him, and that's kind of gonna set up that little IC feud right there. I think that'll make for a good story. So Finn Balor is gonna go back to being the singles guy. He's gonna turn face, and he's pretty much gonna be in the Intercontinental division. I'll have him
Okay.
along with Rey Mysterio because I think there's some angles you could play in there too, where Rey Mysterio's in the IC, like not really the IC title hunt, but obviously he has the ties to Dom because that's his son. So you could kind of play angles with that possibly. And then, of course, Penta if he ends up coming back from his injury at some point. And then on the heel side, in that same division, I would have Rusev, Chad Gable when he comes back, and I would also throw in Ludwig Kaiser. I would completely get rid of that El Grande Americano gimmick. That's done. Like we got to just throw that in the trash. I think that's
For
not.
sure.
But people like Chad Gable and Ludwig Kaiser, I think they've done a really good job of showcasing why they're decent heels. So I think you need that sort of you need something in that mid card that's like, okay, like I could get around this possible storyline of like these two dickheads. Chad Gable's just a loud mouth. You got to throw him in there. So like it's hard because again there's not a lot of talent that you could work with. So it's like you try to balance out and just position guys where it's like, okay, you could put them here, you could put them here, and just let them clash and see what kind of story develops. Because I think that's also a part of it too. Like they don't really just try enough when it comes to stars. I feel like they're so afraid of like, okay, like this guy's not healing enough, or this guy's not facing enough, or this guy doesn't have enough like fan favorite. And it's like you just gotta try. You just gotta throw guys in. Like nobody liked LA Knight, right? Until he started doing the chants and getting better on the mic, and then people were like, oh, like he's kind of cooking. We
Yeah.
knew him as the model guy. It's like, what does he do? But
No, for sure.
as you threw him into the fray, he he starts to pick up on that, and you can't get to that point unless you try something. So my thing is like
Yeah,
you got to
that's
try with
true.
these guys, even if the fans are not really working with it. You just have to kind of just throw it out there and see what sticks. You're not going to find out until you know.
Absolutely.
So just obviously moving to the world tag title scene with Styles and Dragon Lee as the champions right now. I think I would have a feud between Balor and Dom Mysterio, with Balor taking the Intercontinental title. I think
Okay.
Dom has kind of moved away from that, but I would still kind of keep him in the hunt. But in here, I would want to position Dominic and JD McDonough as a possible tag team. And this is just to kind of keep the world tag title like relevant, because that's another problem I ran into as well, just going through the roster. Like they don't really have like set tag teams, and they need
Yeah.
that badly. So I would do Styles and Dragon Lee as the champions. Whether or not they lose that, it really doesn't matter. You just need to use the tag titles, I think. People just want to see tag matches. They want to see high
Yeah.
flying spots. They want to see TLCs. They want to see like tornado tag matches, no DQs, people just doing crazy stunts. So I think when you get Dom and JD, that's already two good guys. Then you got Eric and Ivar, the Viking Raiders. You got the New Day. You got the Creed brothers, which was supposed to be with Chad Gable, but I don't know if one of them got hurt. They just ain't being used. Those are two good tag teams you could use just to throw in the world tag title spot, because you need something. And
Yeah.
then you got sort of the guys who kind of fly under the radar, like Otis and Akira Tozawa. Like you could throw them somewhere in there just to have a spot for a tornado tag match, right? You could have four teams right there. And then
Yeah.
you also get the who was it, the Mexican dudes, Cruz and Wild. I forget who they with. I think they were with Santos Escobar at one point.
Yes.
I
Yes.
forget
Yes.
which. Yeah, yeah.
That sounds
You
right.
could throw you
Yep.
could throw them in. Oh no, they were LWO. You could throw them in there. Yeah. But again, just to keep the
Okay.
world title
Yes.
relevant, I think you need just matches. Like we got to start using the titles and like developing these guys, because they just fall to the wayside, and we kind of forget about them. And we're like, damn, I ain't seen the Creed brothers in mad long, knowing that they're
Yeah.
good talent and they can really fight.
Yeah.
And then even when it comes to the women's, I don't think you need to do much here. I think that the women has been the best spot when it comes to WWE this year. So I feel like any route they take is going to be solid, because there's so many names that they could play with. But just throwing things out there, like, you got Liv Morgan back. You're probably going to get Naomi back at some point, which is two good heels, I think, for the main event card. You got Rhea
Yeah.
Ripley, Io Sky. And then there's just so many other names you could play with. And obviously, Maxine Dupree's got the Intercontinental title. You got the likes of Lyra Valkyrie. You got Becky Lynch. You could kind of play with these. You kind of plug and play, honestly. And the same thing when it comes to the World Tag title. Like you could throw the women anywhere. Like you got Roxanne and Raquel. You got Bliss and Flair, Lash Legend, and Nia Jax. Like you could kind of take the people also from SmackDown, and just because there's only one women's world tag title, you could kind of plug and play all these characters, which I think is really good. So I don't really want to like go too much into that. Let me see. I like. Oh, this is where the swap happens. So Gunther was on Raw. We're gonna now move Gunther to SmackDown. Gunther is going to be basically in the WWE Championship hunt. I think Gunther is better suited in SmackDown, because I think that Cody Rhodes needs to get away, or find a way to get away from the Roman Reigns storyline, and having Roman Reigns being in some type of, just atmosphere with him. I think he needs to continue to develop his own feuds and try to get better at that part. So I think having a person like Gunther's always good for that. I think he's had his time with the World Heavyweight title. It doesn't really need to be him in that mix right now. I think SmackDown needs more top guys. It can't just be Drew
Okay.
McIntyre all the time.
Yeah.
And then I would throw in, obviously, like the Jacob Fatu's, who obviously is on injury. I would throw Sami Zayn in there. I would move up Damian Priest. I don't think Damian Priest is too important, but I think you just need him in the hunt. He's kind of like in the Shinsuke
Yeah,
Nakamura era. Like you just need him
for
there
sure.
to put guys over. And I would throw Solo Sikoa into that WWE Championship feuds. I think he needs, like, you got 6 guys right there. I think he needs to be one of those guys that's in it. I think he's a great worker, great on the mic. I know he's doing well with like his faction. I like it, but it just feels like he's too good at what he does to just be a faction guy and just worrying
Yeah,
about like the tag title. He gotta be, yeah. And then just moving over to the United States title, you got Dragunov. I would throw in Carmelo Hayes, Shinsei Nakamura, Aleister Black, Bo Dallas, and Santos Escobar. I think those are like some really solid mid card guys that you could just plug in any type of stories with, and they're gonna cook. Like
yeah,
Santos Escobar, great heel. Bo Dallas, you could already play with the whole Wyatt family thing. Aleister Black, same thing. Like he's got this element to him, and then Shinsuke Nakamura is always gonna. Shinsuke Nakamura is a worker. You're always gonna get something good
yeah,
with him. He knows how to
absolutely.
put people. Yeah, knows how to put people over. And of course, Carmelo Hayes. This is Tom. Like I think he
Yeah,
needs to get something at this point.
he's up and coming. I think he up next, I guess, right?
Like
So
yeah, he
yeah,
gotta be, man. And then again, when it comes to the tag team, bro, yo, SmackDown has so many tag teams, bro. You remember the Friday night SmackDown after WrestleMania when they put on that match and everybody was
yeah,
going crazy?
mm,
This is what I would do, bro. You got Wyatt family as the champions. You got Motor City Machine Guns, Nathan Frazier and Axiom. You got the Street Profits. You got Gargano and Ciampa. You got MTF. You got Pretty Deadly, and then you got Santos Escobar crew, Angel and Berto. And then just to kind of enhance like the prestige with this title and just kind of get him a little more relevant, I would take possibly moving Penta to SmackDown and have him go back with Rey Fenix and bring back the Lucha Brothers. I think just to kind of elevate that part
pending
of
when he gets
the
to
mid
come
card.
back. But
Right,
yeah,
right, right. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Barring an injury, barring no
yeah,
injury.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just gotta point that out. You're right.
He got to get back first. But
Yeah,
yeah,
gotta
you're
get
right.
back.
I
Yeah,
like
at
that.
some point down the line, yeah, I would definitely move him to SmackDown, and I think that would make for a really interesting just WWE tag title picture. Again,
Okay.
and this is just coming from I think we need to use the titles as a booker. I'm trying to use every championship that's available, put something on the line all the time, or at least be leading to that. Like I said before, it doesn't necessarily have to be defending the title all the time. It's just let's make stories that are gonna be like logically sound, right? Or have some type of linear structure where it's like, okay, you beat this guy, now you're gonna come over here and challenge this guy. We're gonna start a story here. Like create moments where you could chain things together to where you go back, oh, I remember when they had beef from like a year ago, so there's a little history there. Like
Yeah,
this match makes sense, you know, like make it make sense. Don't just
for
throw
sure.
guys together to be like, all right, we having this match. And then again, just with the women's, that's the same thing, like I said, with Raw. You could really just plug and play anybody. I know Jay Cargill's the champion right now. We're probably going to get Bianca Belair back at some point. We're probably going to get
For
Tiffany
sure.
Stratton back at some point. You could definitely do a lot with them. You got Julia, who's on SmackDown now. I think you could move Chelsea Green to the WWE title picture. I don't necessarily think she has to
Okay.
stay around the U.S. women's. I think she's kind of been doing really good with that. But I feel like she's healed enough to where she can make a WWE title storyline work because she's just like that. And then it frees up room for when you get to the actual U.S. title picture. Like you got Zelina Vega, you got Alexa Bliss, you got like DFAD, which I think is doing pretty good work. Like you just want to plug these people in to see what happens. It's not
Yeah, I
necessarily to
agree.
say like, oh, they nice, they need to be up next. It's just you got to try something. But yeah, really,
Okay.
just my whole premise is to just use what's available. Like if this is what we got, let's balance it out. Let's not just stack Raw and leave SmackDown to the wayside, and let's not just use only the PLEs to have 4 matches, right? Like no one
That
liked that
makes sense
Stephanie
though.
Archer versus Nikki Bella match. We were like, it's whatever.
It is what it is. No, that's real. That's
But
completely real.
yeah, that was pretty much all I had for it. I'm just thinking in terms of setting people up for success. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what were you thinking about it?
Yeah, bro. I mean, I took a similar approach. For me, I actually did look into WrestleMania because I do think maybe a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the storylines are crystal clear, but I don't think all of them are.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I was like, first things first. I do think WrestleMania is pushing towards like a 4-way tag match with the Kabuki Warriors, Charlotte and
Mm.
Alexa, Rhea, Io, and Nia and Lash. And I do think Nia and Lash should go over in that match.
Yeah.
I do think they'll be positioned to be a dominant tag team. I do think that's where we're going with WrestleMania with those 4 tag teams. So I
Hmm.
am looking forward to that. For me, I do think whoever this mystery guy is, whether it's Austin Theory or somebody, I think whoever that person is going to be primed to be in a tag team with either Bronson Reed or Logan Paul. And I think they're then going to
Mm.
infiltrate the tag team division. I think we're going to start seeing what happened with the Bloodline, where you start seeing the tag team sector step off and start winning those titles. You're going to see whoever's positioned as the leader, which right now is Braun Breaker. You're going to start seeing him go for the major gold, and
Hmm.
whoever that extra person is going to start, maybe going for IC title run. But I do think they have a tag team incoming that is going to enter that tag team picture that I think will add
Okay.
some excitement to it,
Okay.
just the way that the Usos did when they were a part of the Bloodline, right? So
Hmm.
I'm truly looking forward to that. I do think our next Money in the Big winner is clearly Logan Paul. I don't see I'm being honest, bro. I think it's clearly Logan
You gotta
Paul.
get that.
Barring injury, yeah, because I don't think he's going to win the Rumble. I think right now the focus is
Hmm.
Braun bringing Seth back. I think Seth is going to interfere in a Mania match between Braun and Punk. That's my prediction. Seth
Mm.
returns there. But I do think as we travel down the road and we start looking towards like storylines for SummerSlam and post SummerSlam, I do think 2026 is going to be a breakout Logan Paul year. If I had a hot take more than anything, I do think with him winning Money in the Bank and stuff, right?
Hmm.
I think Roman is going to beat Cody again at Mania. I think that's kind of clear. I don't want to see it,
Roman gets the
but
title back.
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
I think Roman gets the title back in his next feud is Gunther for SummerSlam. That's my prediction,
Okay.
right? I think Roman is going to be away from the Punk and the Rollins aspect of all of it, but that's what I would like to see personally. I do think this Mania we're going to finally get Brock and Gunther. I don't see no other avenue for Brock being at Mania. I can't think of no other avenue for him being at Mania, bro.
Hmm.
I've thought about it. We're not going to
You know
get
they want
Brock
that star
Roman again.
power.
Pray to God we don't get Brock Roman again. But beyond that, like who do he go to war with? We already seen him fight Drew McIntyre. It's
Hmm.
like no one else out there that is of
Yeah.
that. Are you going to convince me that a Bronson Reed feud isn't coming? Maybe I can get into that.
Hmm.
Maybe if you position that the right way, maybe. But beyond that, I can't see no other out for Brock Lesnar. So for me, that's why I think that has to be the Mania match. I don't know what happens with Gunther after he beats John Cena this upcoming weekend at Saturday night's main event. I just think
Hmm.
that's where that's going. I don't see no two other avenues to Mania for those two guys. Do think we're gonna get AJ Lee and Becky Lynch at Mania again.
Okay.
I just think that's just
Yeah.
I just think that's low hanging fruit. I think they're gonna do that regardless.
Hmm.
I do
Star
like the
power match.
idea.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's what Mania is gonna be, right? I could have like when you first told me this, I wanted to take the approach of like just some wild fantasy shit.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, all right, cool. I still gotta be realistic and still offer what like we know WWE. So like there's a fun aspect to it, but I did want to be realistic, right?
For sure.
I think that's going to be most important. I'm looking forward to seeing. I think mine says forward is it's time to step out into the singles
Mm.
arena
Okay.
too. I think I'm kind of over him with tag teams. I think even
Hmm.
people speculated he could have been the guy that did that curb stomp.
Yeah.
So I don't believe that. You know, I just think him being thrown into that Intercontinental U.S. title, realm. I think it's
That's
time because
true.
I think he could put
That's
on
true.
great matches with those guys. We already seen what Montez Ford is for sure capable of. I think we're going towards a Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair mania. I think. Well, I had the Rumble winners. I got Bianca Belair returning at the Rumble to win it and
Oh.
electing to face Jade Cargill.
Okay.
Obviously, I got
Right.
Roman.
Right.
I got Roman winning the Rumble, electing to face Cody.
Cody.
I got Braun Breaker winning the Chamber to face Punk, and I got Liv Morgan winning the Chamber to face Stephanie Vaquer. So that's how I
Mm.
got. That's how I got things going into
Mm.
Mania because that's usually how they do it. The
Yeah.
Elimination Chamber winner gets the
Yep.
other champion. So
Get the other title.
and I think that elimination chamber, which is February 28th. I believe that's the next time we're probably going to see that mystery guy. I
Okay.
don't think we're going to see him anytime soon because
There's no room for that. Yeah.
there's literally no point. There's no PLE. I mean, we got the John Cena Saturday Night Main Event, but it's no PLE until the Rumble,
There's not
which
even.
is
Yeah.
first. I don't think he's going to be at the Rumble, and right after that, February 28th is the Chamber. So I think that makes the most sense. But looking forward to that. Yep, I do think the SummerSlam main event is going to be Gunther versus Roman. See what else I got written here. I'm missing anything. I don't have anything for Cody Rhodes. I hope he's,
Hope he survives.
yeah, doing his thing, whatever that next phase of Cody
Bro said,
Rhodes
"This
looks
is
like.
my show
And
now."
the same for Punk, like I do think he will also go back to exploring Seth and Roman because I really truly don't think that's one they really, really made a feud of. We seen it dangle here and there, and then they
Yeah.
had that match. I forgot which PLE it was where Roman just beat the shit out of him with a steel chair,
Oh
and it
man.
was. And I
Yeah.
remember that because he came out
Yeah.
with Seth came out with the
Yeah.
old Shield theme too. I remember that was fire, but Roman just beat the shit out of him. Like I think there's so much that's too easy of a storyline that I'm surprised WWE ain't already just
Yeah.
take all the meat off that bone. They done been in tag team matches with, obviously Roman and Rock when it was Cody and Seth, but it's like we never got that Shield sort of like full on Seth Rollins Roman Reigns feud, right? We
Mm-hmm.
got Seth and Dean
Mm-hmm.
for a while, but we never fully got the Roman and Seth. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully that can come back around. But yeah, besides that, I do think it's going to be a big vision year, right? A
Mm-hmm.
big vision year. I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking, I'm talking peak. I'm talking peak bloodline where everybody is doing an intro and they all walking out with belts. That's
Ooh.
how I view them after Mania. Now you have CM Punk's, Cody Rhodes, the Jey Usos, the Jimmy Usos, the guys that I think still linger around, right? And I think for Jay, if you turn him heel, right? I think if you turn him heel, you gotta keep him away from Roman. I don't think
Mm.
we need him in the stratosphere of like Roman Reigns as he turns heel. I think you leave him on Raw if you're gonna have Roman on SmackDown, or
Yeah.
vice versa, right? But I think you leave those two guys apart. I do think a heel Jey Uso and a champion Roman make for a great Saudi match. You know,
Mm-hmm.
for that dumbass championship belt that they got. Like when you gave me this topic, that's just where my mind went to just everywhere, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like I ain't gonna nail every event with every match, but just where my
Yeah.
mind just was going with some of
Yeah.
this stuff. But I could see a Jey Uso Roman in Saudi for the belt when they both like, but that's just like super wishful thinking because that would assume Jey Uso would be world champion again, and I don't see that for 2026.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
that's just really really wishful thinking.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I do think SummerSlam we will see triple threat match for the belt between Jay, Bianca, and Naomi. I do think
Ooh.
that's going to be the SummerSlam main, the women's side of the SummerSlam main event. So definitely believe that. If you can convince me Seth Rollins is going to be back by SummerSlam, he's for sure going to have a match.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that match will probably be against Braun Breaker for the World Championship. I think that'll be low
Yeah.
hanging fruit at that point, right?
Right. Right.
If
Right. The
if
writing's
if
on the
he
wall
comes
there.
back, or if it's just versus Braun Breaker in general. Because if I got Seth coming back at Mania, I think it would be to screw Braun over, and
Ooh.
Punk would retain. If he comes back at Mania, then yes, I do got Braun losing, and then it goes down a different path. But if he doesn't come back, I have Braun winning, and I think that's clearly the SummerSlam main event. Clearly, because Seth is going to come back.
Gotcha.
He'll be back. I think at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So looking forward to that. I don't know how to call it with Stephanie Vaquer and Liv Morgan. I think maybe after WrestleMania, I think you'll start seeing some of those tag teams split back up. I don't think I don't think for the next 2-3 years we're going to see Io Sky and Rhea Ripley
Oh
or
yeah.
Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. So I do think all of those tag teams run out at Mania. I think with
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte Flair has to go back to singles wrestling, Alexa, because they're too big of stars to just remain tag
Yeah.
teams, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like now you got to put those girls back into the atmosphere. Like I'm sure Alexa Bliss didn't plan to just be in a tag team for the rest of her career. We know who
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte Flair is, right? We know who Oscar is. We know who these women are individually as total competitors. So I think we're definitely going to get back to that. So I think that opens the door up for more
Mm-hmm.
Stephanie Vaquer feuds because if it's not going to be Liv Morgan, there's not much there for her right now, unfortunately. In terms of people who already or women who already made women. Now, you can
Like
convince me
next up.
somebody going to jump up the ladder. Cool, that's a different conversation, and we can have that. But for the
Mm-hmm.
women that you already know that's in that position or close to those positions to be top women, I don't see nothing else for her, you know. So I do think that would be the best bet. Do I want to see AJ Lee win another, big championship?
Nah.
Probably not, but if she is gonna stick around, it won't surprise me if that's one of those SummerSlam matches too, where she's going for the belt or whatever the case may be,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where I'll leave it at, bro. I don't want to like go too much further because then I'll just be talking out my ass at that point. But that's just kind of where I saw things going. So just to highlight it, I do got a big year for the Vision. I do think at some point all of them will have belts. I got Roman going back over, winning the championship at Mania. I got Braun Breaker winning if Seth not coming back to interfere. If Seth comes back, I got Punk winning. And I think just those are the biggest kind of plans that I saw for
Yeah. I
2026
like
in
that.
terms of wrestling, bro. So I think they got some room, they got some, creative leeway
Mhm.
to I guess figure some shit out. Hopefully they do, but it's this version of the WWE. So you
Yeah.
never know.
Yeah.
You
Yeah. There's
never
always
know. But
the business aspect in the back of their minds, right? They got to make the
it always
dollars.
is,
They got
bro.
to push the
It
stars.
always
Yeah.
is, bro. And speaking of the business segue, business aspect. Thank you for the easy alley, bro, as you always do. Throwing me the alley so I could dunk it. There's been a report that came out this past week, bro, that ESPN has not been happy with this WWE deal, WWE Premium Live Event arrangement. A former WWE writer allegedly, Freddie Prinze Jr., went public with the claim that an ESPN source told him that the network isn't thrilled with the current WWE deal. Now, Dave Meltzer,
Mhm.
we all in the wrestling world know that name.
Mhm.
Now, Dave Meltzer has expanded on the situation in the latest issue of the Wrestling Observer, saying that ESPN should have known from day one that the numbers were never going to break in their favor. The structure of the deal simply wasn't built to produce profit. The math was never mathing. And Meltzer pointed out that it's also a TKO challenge in general because rights for the WWE and the UFC are considered so expensive that streamers are not realistically expected to break even. Yet those same rights, those same views, WWE and UFC are viewed as premium assets because of the visibility, the engagement, and the brand strength that they provide. So, in other words, the content
Mhm.
moves the needle even if the math doesn't. So, what you think about, just that reporting,
Wow.
potential implications with the deal and everything, bro?
Damn, that's a tough one. Wow.
Yeah,
But this is the thing. It's like it just feels like sometimes we're in uncharted territory a bit because it's like we've almost never really seen. Well, we haven't really seen anything like this where it's like you have
yeah,
TKO, the UFC merging with basically an entertainment form. Because I mean, this is all fake, right? It's all planned. It's
yeah,
written. It's in a sense reality TV, right? Like this is all created. So it's like you're trying to essentially market a created product, a reality TV product. And, you're selling gimmicks and theater and art and acting and storylines and like I don't know. It just am I surprised? No, but at the same time, it's like this is just the company trying its best to grow to as magnificent height as it can, right? Like they're trying every
yeah,
sort of deal that they because think about like how what maybe 3-4 years ago, like we didn't even think of any of this, right? Like it was just W on Peacock, watch the PLEs, or you have like the little bit of WWE Network that was left over. I don't even think Raw was on Netflix. Yeah, Raw wasn't even on Netflix yet. We're still seeing these on cable television, and then fast forward, not even a couple of years later, we're already at Netflix, ESPN. We're moving all the PLEs to different platforms. You got to go here to get this platform. It's like it's
Yep,
tough. I mean, it's. But again, that's what it is. It's hard to make a product like this grow when the fan base is like it's almost selective. There's not. It's hard. It's hard to just make somebody a fan. They have to want to be a fan, right? They have to want to be like immersed in the product.
that's
Like
real.
it's not like it's the NBA, right? Like NBA just it's a sport. It's a sport. We know this is competitive. We know it's for fun. But when it comes to wrestling, it's a whole other just I don't know what to call it. I don't want to call it an obstacle. It's a whole other beast.
Yeah,
So
it
am
is.
I surprised? No, but I'm just like I don't know. I think they got to figure it out. I would want them to go back to Peacock and just stay there and just leave that as it is. I think they had something good going with that, and I didn't necessarily see the need for the ESPN deal, but I get of course you got to try to expand and get the visibility of your company to new faces, right? New eyes.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah, it's interesting, bro. I think one of the broader implications is something that I took when I first read it was like, this the trend, and I'm like still looking at the article here, like the trend
Mhm.
where major broadcasters and major streaming platforms use like marquee content like UFC, WWE, not to directly profit, but like to drive subscriptions and engagement. So it seems interesting, right? Like where it's like everything is supposed to be like a bottom line thing, but it looks like in the short term, it's not like to drive profit. It's like it seems like it's going to be like a long term play for long term brand and growth and like subscription. So I don't know if we should be looking at this from a profitability standpoint
Mhm.
as opposed we should be looking at to it from like a visibility standpoint because with every story and I'm even looking at it here there's been people on both sides of WWE and ESPN that deny that this is the case, right? There's people that say that the deal has been great, we've enjoyed working with each other so far. So it's like one thing, you never really know what the truth is.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are searching for the headlines, but two,
Mhm.
I do think that's interesting where it's not a look at necessarily the profit, but more so the long term play in terms of driving subscriptions because like wrestling is huge, it's global. Same thing with like the UFC, right? So you have those platforms, you have those entities on your platform, you're automatically going to drive subscriptions. How many of us were saying, "Oh, we got Peacock because of WWE," or we did we left Peacock, now we got the ESPN because it's
Yeah.
it's those type of where wrestling heads, Same thing with the UFC. These sports are so huge that people are going to want them on their platform, even if they're not getting quick profit. But
Mhm.
think interesting case. Gonna love to see how everything continues to play out. With everything and the pricing and stuff being through the roof to even attend a
Yeah.
WWE event. I was just like, we're
Hmm.
gonna continue to see how the money shapes the decisions that TKO make because that's automatically the
That's
long
the
term
reality.
implications of what happened. But
Hmm.
looking into Monday Night Raw this week, today Gunther's gonna address the WWE Universe, obviously after beating Jey Uso to you know be the winner of the Last Time Is Now tournament to face John Cena on Saturday night's main event. The tag team championship's gonna be on the line. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee versus the War Raiders. We're gonna
Ah,
have Rey Mysterio versus Finn Balor. Stephanie Vaquer is gonna make an appearance and Lyra Valkyria versus Roxanne Perez. That's Raw for this week. Let
hmm.
me talk to you about SmackDown, and then I can get your thoughts on both. SmackDown this week is looking like it's so far Ilya Dragunov versus Tommaso Ciampa for the U.S. Championship. Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, Terra Twins, Tariff Twins, come back. They reunite to go up against Aleister Black and Selena.
Wow.
Looking forward to that.
Okay.
And we're
Okay.
gonna have Alexa Bliss versus Lash Legend, which I'm looking forward to, bro.
Okay.
So like, I'm
Okay.
not gonna lie, SmackDown got the better card this week so far. clearly, and there's only three matches announced. But just to quickly throw my 2 cents in it, yeah, I love when there's championship belts on the line, whether it's tag belts, IC belts, world championship belts. I don't care what they are. I love title matches on these weekly
Hmm.
TV shows, so I'm always going to be appreciative of that. It's going to be interesting to see what Gunther has to say. I don't know what much he can say, or like I don't know what I'm looking forward to
Hmm.
him saying. So that's why I'm actually excited for him to come out. Because how do you cut a promo on John Cena's last match? I don't.
Right.
What are you gonna say? But
I'm gonna retire you.
but then like I said, Alexa Bliss and Last Legend. I always love like those small big dynamics in
Hmm.
matches.
Yeah.
And I've seen Alexa Bliss put on great matches with Nia Jax and Rhea
Yeah.
Ripley and all of that stuff. So I always look forward to those great matches. And Lash Legend, she's now up and coming,
Hmm.
but also now. And I love pairing her with Nia Jax. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
Terra Twins getting back together, fun, bro. I think it's a great week. I think it's a
Yeah.
great week.
It's a cool.
SmackDown
That's it.
definitely got the better show. Looking forward to it. What you think
Hmm.
about these
Yeah.
cards, bro?
Nah, that's it's nice. It's nice to hear that again. Like, and that was my whole stance with it. Even when we started today's episode, is just try things. Use the titles. Use what
Yeah,
you have at hand. Like, you gotta see what sticks. You won't know until you get somewhere. And yeah, like War Raiders getting the spot, I think is great. Who really knows the quality of the match? But it's just the fact that the tag titles are being used as something fresh. It's not just like, all right, here's Rusev and some random, here's a squash match. Like, let's fight. And
yeah,
again, in reference to the women on Raw and SmackDown, like, I really just don't think they could do no wrong. There's just so many people that they could just plug and play, and it's nice to see somebody like Lash Legend getting that little bid. I'm loving the pairing with Nia Jax. I think that's a cool team. Hopefully they get to a point where they do get them belts.
yeah.
And yeah, Damian Priest. I think he needs a little. They gotta do something with him. I think he's an unused talent. Is he as good as everybody else? I don't know. I don't think so. But again, talent is talent. You got to use the guys you have available. And he shouldn't have to be on dark matches and doing YouTube
Yeah,
matches. Like
yeah.
just
No, for
let's
sure.
plug the guy in, like let him run a promo. Let's see what happens. But yeah, it's a great great cards. I'm actually liking the Finn Balor and Mysterio match. I'm hoping they try to run some angles. Like I said, I do want them to put Finn Balor back to a face. So hopefully we get a little
Okay.
something like that. But yeah,
Okay.
I'm watching for sure.
Yeah, dope cards, bro. As we always say, it's always a great time to be a wrestling fan. Now is always the best time to be a wrestling fan. But moving on to the NBA, bro. This week, NBA Cup quarterfinals begin tomorrow. Tomorrow, which is Tuesday, December 9th, we're going to have the Miami Heat in Orlando to take on the Magic. And then later that day, we're going to have the New York Knicks and Toronto to take on the Raptors. So the East
Ooh,
quarterfinals tomorrow. Who you got, bro? Magic versus Orlando.
wow.
Magic versus Orlando. Magic versus the Heat. I'm bugging. Magic versus Orlando.
Magic versus the Heat. Probably the Heat because I did see
Okay.
my boy Wagner went down with the knee injury.
Yeah. Yeah,
So I
yeah.
think that sucks. That's gonna hurt them. I think a little bit. They need him. They need him. So I think the Heat is gonna
Yeah.
etch that one out for sure.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna go Magic with that. We got Bam Adebayo. I mean, he might Desmond Bain might launch the ball at him this time. Take him up on out the game. Orlando win that game. But jokes aside, though, I do got the Magic winning that one. I do just like the matchup for them. It is in Orlando. I know Miami's in Florida as well, but they're the home team. I do think they sneak that one out.
Hmm.
Later that day, the Knicks at Raptors. I don't even know if I really got to ask you who I think you got winning, but you know, we both got them winning. So shout out to the New York Knicks. After that, that's Tuesday. So Wednesday on the west side of things, we have the Phoenix Suns versus the Oklahoma City Thunder,
Ooh,
and we have. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go first. Thunder. It's easy. It's not like
yeah, I think that's a
this
no
is
brainer.
nice. Yeah, it's Thunder. And then in the West quarterfinals, we have the San Antonio Spurs and La La Land to take on Luka the Don and the Los Angeles Lakers. So you ain't gotta ask me. You ain't gotta ask me. First of all, if Wemby not back, I don't care. The Lakers are winning that game.
Yeah.
If Wemby's back, all right, then we can talk because they loaded. But the Spurs are capable, though. I know it's my
Yeah.
it's my biasness coming out with me, but
Right.
they're more than capable of winning that game. I just like our chances with us being the home team. So, all right, cool.
League leader.
So then we're gonna go so we could discuss that. On Saturday we're gonna have the semifinals, so we should discuss that now. And I guess on Monday we can make our cup finals predictions, but let's go at least the semifinals now. So the semifinals, based on our predictions, or based on your predictions, would see the Heat versus the Knicks. Who would you have winning that?
I gotta go with the Knicks. I feel like
The Knicks.
Yeah, they too good. They too good right now.
All right, so the Knicks in the finals, and then the Thunder versus the Lakers. Who you got winning that?
Damn. Oh my god, bro, that's gonna be a great
brutal.
match.
That's gonna be brutal, man.
That's gonna be a war.
I hope that's that's gonna be brutal.
Man,
that's tough, man.
It's crazy when it's basically the two top scorers in the league going head to head.
Yeah.
I want to say the Lakers, but it's hard when the Thunder got one loss, man.
It's tough, man.
I would like the Lakers.
Tough to beat them boys, man.
Yeah, I think either way, whoever wins, it's not a surprise. That's what I'm gonna say.
100%. 100%.
Not a surprise.
100%. 100%. But fuck it, I'm gonna say it. The Cup Finals is gonna be the Los Angeles Lakers versus the New York Knicks. That's gonna be the Cup Finals, man. I'm saying it. And say my boy. So listen, they're the best team in the league, bro. All jokes aside, best team in the league, and it's not close. Like those boys, my boy Shea Butter, happy man. Listen, you know how I feel about him. I say that every episode, but those boys are playing, so definitely capable. It's just I'm never gonna pick them. I picked them over everybody else but the Lakers. But shout out to them. I think some great NBA Cup games happening this week, so definitely looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
And bro, it's time. You know what time it is, bro? It's time for this edition. Gotta cue some music in the background here. Listen, we're gonna elevate this segment as the weeks go on. We're gonna cue some music in the background here, man. This edition of Plus Minus Therapy. Where plus minus, bro, is not only a stat, it's a diagnosis. Say that every week. It's not only a stat, it's a diagnosis. So, this week, bro, another New York Knicks stopped by. Another New York Knicks stopped by my office this week. And I'm like, okay. I always love when the Knicks come by because usually when the Knicks come by, they're going to be on the plus side of things. And boy, was I right. And walk the great Miles McBride, who this week saw or posted a plus 72 this past week while he was on the court. So Miles came in. He said, "Good afternoon, doctor." I said, "Miles, your chart says plus 72 this week. That's not just a basketball stat. That's an emotional support number, bro." I said, "You cooking." He said, "Tell me, how do you regulate your on-court anxiety?" He said, "I use my grounding techniques, listen to Coach Brown, paid attention in practice, film, study." I said, "Wow, I'm proud of you. Healthy coping mechanisms, which is why you came in here with a plus 72. And then I get a knock on the door because, obviously, bro, that session don't last long. The sessions don't last long when everyone's doing well. They come in happy to, they're happy to let you know all is well in the land, and they go about their business. Then someone knocks on my door, and it enters a guy I've never seen before. And I'm a basketball fan, so I'm like, "Excuse me, sir, you sure you got the right room? This is for NBA players, right?" And he said, "Yeah, this is the right room. This is where they told me to come for, my minus therapy." I said, "Okay, can I have your name?" He said, my name is Bob Carrington." I said, "Who?" He said, "Bob Carrington." of the Washington Wizards. I said, okay. Then I looked at his chart. I said, oh, young fella, 20 years old. He on a bum team. So my apologies for not knowing young fella, but I'm wishing young fella all the success, right? But I said, you coming here on the Washington Wizards as a minus 63. A minus 63. This is what I call chronic scoreboard distress, bro. CSD.
Yes.
Chronic scoreboard distress. When you come in the game, the teams are feasting. That's
Yeah.
yams, that's barbecue chicken, that's mac and cheese, that's collards, that's the cornbread, and
Cornbread.
that's the dinner rolls. They feasting off you. But I said, bud, you're a 20-year-old young cat in the league. You'll figure out your way. In
Oh.
the session again. We good, bro? You can hear me? All right, cool.
Yeah. Exactly.
And
Yep.
then, I said, you got to take your time. You got to get some healing, bro. I said, take your time, heal. And I never want to see you here for this session again. He said, thank you. I didn't want to be too hard on the young fella, bro. He is a young fella. So I sent him along his way. But plus minus therapy of the week, we saw Miles McBride of the New York Knicks and Bob Carrington of the Washington
Yeah.
Wizards. Plus
My
minus
young
players
boy.
of the week, bro. Bro, I had the Google Bub. His name is Carlton Carrington, but they call him Bub. Shout out to the young boy.
Dalton.
Shout out to the young, doing his thing.
Come on, Carl.
Okay, but talk to me. How you feeling about these guys?
Not surprised when it comes to
Yeah.
Miles McBride, man. That guy, like, I'm glad that the Knicks have been able to, what it feels like, consistently find these sort of like solid role player guys that just come in, affect the game positively, and leave. They ain't got to do too much. They ain't trying to score 28 a game, But when you get guys like the Emmanuel Quickleys and the Miles McBrides of the world, like, you can't ask for much. And 70 plus
Shout
72,
out to that guy,
I'm not surprised, man. That guy, he scorer, comes on the floor, does what he does, plays his defense as much as he can. Not the best, but because of the size.
Competitor.
Again, I expect no less from that guy, man. And on the opposite side,
Come on,
damn,
bub.
Carlton.
Come on, Carlton.
You gotta get it.
Gotta use your weapon.
Come on, Carlton.
Well, boy, Carlton. But
Yeah, that man. Minus 63.
that's fire, bro.
Sheesh.
That's fire. I mean, he out there just being ass, just being ass.
Euro stuff.
We always say plus minus is not the whole story, but it's a significant chapter. So hopefully, shout out to the Knicks and the Wizards are ass. So it's not surprising that we see those guys on the minus side of things. But moving on to our NBA Players of the Week, bro. I took a look at the Players of the Week and I was like, somebody said, oh, yeah. So they said, they said we got to travel. In the West, they said we got to travel back to Denver. And I said, oh, okay. No surprise here. Here we go again. But boy, was I wrong. Because when we landed in Denver, we realized the player of the week this week is Jamal Murray, averaging 29.8 points, 7.5 assists, shooting 62% from the three, and his team went 3-1. Shout out to Jamal Murray, player of the week in the West, Denver's own Jamal Murray. Then we had to go to the East, and we had to go to a city that I don't ever desire to visit for sports reasons. We had to go to Beantown, and there's only one person on that team eligible to win Player of the Week, and that's Mr. Paint himself, Jalen Brown. The Boston Celtics, averaging 34.6.7 rebounds, 5.7 assists, and the Celtics went 4-0 this week. So those are the two players of the week, bro. Any thoughts?
Yeah. Damn, shout out to Mr. 6 rings in 3 years.
That's funny. That is hilarious.
That's yeah. I mean, hey, I'm not Jamal Murray though, man. Damn, I've been following him for the last week. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
That man was wilding this week. Like, damn, bro, like lights out. Just can't practically in NBA terms can't miss, right? Because 63% is godly.
Listen, let's be clear, bro. Only reason he got that award this week because Austin Reeves was ass last night. If Austin Reeves cooked last
Ah.
night, that was his waiting. But he was so cool last night. But because Austin Reeves been
Yeah,
averaging 40, Luka was going with the baby. Shout out to Luka. Luka was going with the baby, and Bron missed the game.
that's
Even the
true.
game we lost in
That's true.
Boston, Austin Reeves had like 36. So it's because he was ass yesterday in Philly,
Hmm.
but it happened. But shout out to the players of the week, bro. Shout out to the NBA. Man,
Hmm.
we're in a great position right now. Fun stuff, fun basketball, fun wrestling. But before we go, you always know we got to end with our shout outs of the week. And for me, I
Hmm.
was going through just trying to figure out what made the most sense. But for me, it was easy this week. Just wanted to give a shout out to James Harden for passing Carmelo Anthony and becoming 10th all time on the NBA
Oh
scoring
yeah,
list. Meanwhile, Kevin Durant reached 31,000 points.
crazy.
For me, James Harden, it's interesting. I was just having this
Wow.
conversation about this not too long ago. Houston James Harden was some of the best offensive basketball I think I've ever seen in my life, right? And I know some people don't like the
Yeah.
style, it didn't result in the championship. Cool, I'm not here to debate that. But when you look at some of those box scores, bro,
Hmm.
when you look at the impact that man has had, and to really know that not only he's top 10, that he's ahead of Steph Curry. That's not even something I really paid attention to. But James Harden entering the top 10 really, I think, solidifies him as one of the greats of our era. A lot of people don't want to give him that because of the style of the play. Same thing they try to criticize Russell Westbrook about sometimes, style of play. But for me, shout out to James Harden because he was an incredible, always has been, but in Houston specifically, one of the best shot makers I've ever seen, one of the best tough shot makers I've ever seen. You can call him a foul baiter. You can call him dribbling the air out the basketball. But there's a lot of people that try to do that and don't end up with 30, 40, 50-point triple doubles. Bro, like that man was
Yeah.
in our
Yeah.
time. Like I would argue his run, I would put his offensive run in Houston up with almost anybody's, bro, because it was that potent. So shout out to James Harden, 10th all
Yeah.
time on the NBA
Hmm.
scoring list. Fire accomplishment for him.
Yeah. Yo, if you think about it too, like even in that run, I think when you look at the like the 3 point record books, he
Bro,
moved into those spots so
bro.
quickly just in that run. I seen that the other day. I was like, oh,
Bro,
James Harden. It's like you didn't even think
I would
like James
argue
Harden
he's the
really like
greatest
that, but
scorer of our generation.
crazy.
I would actually argue that. I would actually argue that. And
Mm-hmm.
again, it wouldn't make sense,
Yeah.
obviously, because we got Bron, who's the all-time NBA leading scorer. But I'm talking about like if I was just
Yeah.
taking a time capsule and just taking Houston James Harden, I don't know if anybody in this era, like offensively, like obviously we got the Lucas, we got the Shays, but it's like
Different,
we
different animal.
forget really what James was in that time. It's easy to gloss over. He was different,
Hmm.
bro. He was different. One of one. One of one,
Yeah,
bro.
I
One
agree.
of one.
I agree.
And I would argue the greatest lefty of all time. Yep. Greatest lefty. And last but certainly not least, now that I think about it, I'm gonna have to redo my all-time shooting guard list, but James Harden definitely in my top five. Definitely in my top five.
Mm.
Definitely in my top five.
Yeah,
Now I
yeah,
think
yeah,
the only
yeah.
question is, do he crack the
I
top
agree.
three? I don't think nobody passed Jordan and Kobe in my book. But then I think you start arguing the D Wades. I think the biggest argument for people will be the D Wades at that third spot. But I just don't think Dwayne Wade was ever as potent as James Harden, bro. I just don't think so. I just don't. When you talk about somebody
Yeah,
that can
yeah,
touch
yeah,
points,
yeah.
rebounds,
It's a
assists,
skill set.
shoot the three at that clip, shoot the free throw at that
Hmm.
clip, get to 3-level scorer. Like you're talking about there when there was literally no weakness in somebody's offensive game. Like some players like a Luka who was going to shoot like an 80% from the free throw line, so he's going to give you some outs. Some guys who could do it is not going to shoot the three at such a
Hmm.
crazy clip and 1 3-pointers. Like the Jokic is not going to shoot like 10, 12, 13 threes in the game. He could probably do it if he tried, but that's not his game. James was just different, bro. He was there was no answer for James, man.
the usage
He
rate
just
through the
was
roof.
around the time where Warriors had a dynasty.
That's a fact.
You know, where Warriors had a dynasty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But yeah, bro, floor is yours for your
I
shout out.
agree. I think I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stick with basketball just because I've been following
Yeah,
Jalen Johnson ever since he got the
yeah,
play of the week that other week.
he's a
I
baller.
like how he's been playing, and I'm kind of surprised because I
Mm-hmm.
haven't really been following him outside of this year. It just, but when I see near triple doubles, near quadruple doubles,
Somebody
I'm
I
like,
gotta watch.
like
Yep.
what's going on there? And yeah, he on track right now. I don't know if he's eligible for most improved, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did get it. I think he's at 23, 10 and a half rebounds and 8 assists. I'm like, yo, with 1.6 steals. I'm
Cooking,
like, damn, like you playing on the dirt team like the
cooking.
Hawks, like and
And the
doing
funny
that.
part is, the Hawks has
I gotta give
been
you the nod, man. I gotta
much
give you
better without Trey Young. So it's crazy.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yep. Because he ain't
at
doing
all,
these numbers. he
at all. I mean, the Hawks
ain't
is
doing
ninth in
these
the East right
numbers.
now.
But
You can't be mad at that.
yeah, he's got 4 triple doubles,
Yeah,
14 double doubles so far.
yeah, bro, cooking up.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Gotta give credit where it's due, man.
100%,
That's
bro.
amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Ain't too many guys touching a near triple double in the league.
At all, bro, at all. So shout out to Jalen Johnson. Shout out to James Harden. One Hall of Famer, one on his route to be a Hall of Famer. So shout out to those guys. Shout out to the NBA. Shout out to the WWE. Paint to the pit. We appreciate y'all as always for joining us again. Like, subscribe,
Mm-hmm.
share YouTube and TikTok. We be there. Until next time, we are out.
Peace.